Good afternoon. Welcome to the Find Your Why Foundation with myself, Dr. Cheryl Chapman, and with
me, Dr. Marion Bevington.
Good afternoon. I hope you are well. So following on from yesterday's discussion, whatever you call it, Facebook Live, we're asking you if this time's a good time for you as well. So we're just testing out a few times. I can already see the lovely Anna Newshon is joining us. So welcome, Anna. Dzień dobry in Poland. Hope you are well. And so this is day 3 or day 4? Day 3, I think, or day 4. Anyway, it's another day of Find Your Why questions. And the question for today is, why can I not find what I'm looking for? That was a little bit like me then, because I couldn't find the button. So what's your thoughts on this, Marion? Why can't I seem to find what I'm looking for? These questions, of course, have come from the Live, Love, Laugh Lounge, home of the wise women, or the Man Cave, home of the wise men. So, Marion, what do you reckon? Why has this question come up, do you think?
Because I think it's because of not really having clarity on what it is that we want or what we're looking for, and be able to distinguish, is what you're looking for, is it a thing, is it a feeling, is it a state, is it a mood, is it a place, is it a person? What is it that you're looking for, and why do you want it? What is it that you want about it? Because when you start to get real clarity about what you're looking for and why you're looking for it, that's when things get easier, usually. So yeah, I think it's a clarity.
Yeah, and it's interesting, isn't it? Because like it could be anything. It could be like, why is it that I keep putting my keys down and I can't find them? Or why is it I can't find my purpose? It could be kind of the extremes of that, couldn't it?
Yeah.
I think, in terms of like, why can't you find your keys and why can't you find your purpose? Whilst it might seem like they're not related, I think it is, because if you think about it, when say you go in somewhere and you're looking for your kitchen, looking for your keys in the kitchen, for example. I just went into my kitchen in my mind then. And you walk in and you go, I can't find this. I can't find it. Why can't I find it? Why can't I see it? And you're really desperately trying to find this thing that that you're telling your mind you can't find. So there's a couple of things, isn't there? One is like, if you tell your mind you can't find it, it can't find it. It only does what it thinks you want. Oh, you don't want to find it. That's fine, no problem. We won't let you see it, even though it's right in front of your eyeballs. And then it's the same with your purpose. Oh, I feel under pressure. I feel I need to find my purpose. I need to find my passion. Everybody else seems to have it, so maybe you start to compare. And then it's like, well, I don't know what I want. Oh, I feel under pressure. And again, oh, I don't know what I want. So the brain goes, oh, guess what? Well, that's okay. Let's just deliver what you don't want then, which is, you don't know what you don't want. Okay, great. That'll do. Have what you've asked for then. And it reminds me of when we were at that retreat in Thailand, the one that cost like £1,000 a day. And we were there and there was a little girl there and she was looking over the balcony. She was like, oh, Cheryl, look at the black fish. And in my mind, straight away, I'm thinking, koi carp type, huge black fish. And I'm looking thinking, I can't fucking see this black fish that she's on about. And of course, the brain goes, can't see it. And then the guy who we were staying with came over and went, oh, look at all the little black fish. And immediately my eyes were like, oh, there it is. Oh, there you go. Different point of view, bit of more information. So what can we do to help people to be able to find what they can't see, Maz? What do you reckon?
Well, being clear on what it is that you want and why you want it, that's definitely a huge step in the right direction. So, for example, when you were looking for a big fish, you were clear what you wanted, but it wasn't there. You wanted a big fish. And so, yeah, you give the mind the instruction and the mind will carry out the task for you. And sometimes the more I get involved in work around using the law of attraction and using those different paradigms, you'll find sometimes that when you're so clear on what you want, it kind of appears as if by magic. It's like what some lovely teachers say, the universe conspires to bring it together for you without you having to do more than actually visualize it or to be very, very clear about it in your mind. And it's almost like when the mind is that clear, it can conjure up from nowhere as if stuff that you do really want. And there's the explanation for that is when you're in the feeling place of what you want. So when you can clearly visualize and when you can clearly feel how you want to feel, when you can actually put yourself into that state, you're resonating at the same vibration as all of the things that you want. And so they're all in your reality. They all come part of your reality. And the universe will find its own way of bringing them to you, because we're all energy beings. And when you think about energy in terms of frequency and vibration, then you're on the right lines. Who was it who said that? Wasn't Einstein, was it? It was the guy with the perpetual energy. What was his name? Nikola Tesla. That's what I'm thinking of. So Nikola Tesla said, if you really do want to understand the world around us, we do need to think in terms of frequency and vibration. And so if, as a vibrating being, my frequency is high, I'm going to receive high things. If my frequency is low, I'm going to receive low things. You get what you vibrate at. And so you were right then when you were saying about, worrying about what you can't see. That's a vibration of doubt, of could be suspicion, it could be blame. It's quite a low vibration. So you're going to get low vibration. So you're going to get more of what you can't see, get more frustrated, or you'll get more whatever it is that feeling places when you can't see it, or you don't know what it is. You're just going to stay in that place. And the only way to deal with that is to start to think about, how will it feel when I can see it? And when you start shifting your state, shifting your mood, that's when different stuff starts to appear. So you can see it. Oh, and I just saw Renara's joined us again. Hello, Renara.
Hello, Renara. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. She's found us. Interesting. If anybody is watching now or watches the replay, you actually just gave a really good example of how to do that, because you were saying, what's his name? And then you were like, what is his name? What is his name? Rather than most people go, oh God, what's the name? I can't remember the name. You just went, what's the name? What's the name? Oh yeah, Tesla. I remember now. A good example, inflow of how to find it. Because, when someone says, can you remember so-and-so's name? Oh, no, I've no idea. Can't remember his name.
Yeah, I'm not very good at remembering names.
Yeah.
Don't think. I think I used to say it.
Yeah. I remember we went to a talk with, I can't remember the name of the lovely lady. She was Daniela, was it? Danielle from Ireland. And she was saying, if you do find yourself saying that, because we all do, you just go, in a minute, I'm going to remember, or I will remember, or it will come to me, some kind of like positive versions of, I'm going to find it and I know it's in there. So I remember her doing that. That was great. And we've also got Elke here as well. Hello, ladies. I'm back. Thank you. She's enjoying the lives. Yes, we're alive. So we're just talking today about how is it that I can't seem to find what I'm looking for.
I keep having that song in my head.
I know, still haven't found what I'm looking for. Anyway, there you go. Anyway, don't give up the day job, Cheryl. So, still haven't found my voice. Yes, I have found my voice.
I have found my voice. I sing all the time. I sing badly.
Yes, we know you do, Maz. We've seen the Facebook lives. Anyway, moving on swiftly. So why can't I seem to find what I'm looking for? And sometimes it's maybe because you put yourself under too much pressure, I need to find it. Or you've got your version of it. So I've just told the story about the fish that I was looking for. And also we've got this really lovely story, which I can't name the person. Otherwise I'll probably be dead and not here for the next live. But somebody fairly close to me. I was talking about trying, not Miles, by the way, was talking about trying to find, a man, a partner, if you like. And she was basically saying to me, I'm looking for someone that's tall, I'm looking for someone that's funny. And then, she'd go out with somebody and she'd go, they were funny and they were tall, but, they weren't really like stimulating my brain. So I'm looking for someone that can stimulate my brain now. And then like 2 days later or something, like, oh no, I'm thinking I really do like the funny one. And I just like, in my mind, I just saw this story, this kind of like picture of, the universe packing department getting ready to deliver, this guy that she was talking about, this funny guy, measuring him up, putting him in a box, with funny and tall on the outside of the box, getting ready to send it to, nearly said where she lived, getting ready to send it to wherever she lived. And then halfway on the journey, it was like, note to the packing department, that's a recall because she's changed her mind. You know, having to turn around, take that person back, you know, and then, you know, the next version, you know, maybe a bit shorter, but a bit more intelligent, put in a box, sending it off, you know, and again, 2 days later, it's only halfway across from the universe to wherever it needed to be delivered. Oh no, another one, another recall, bring it back. Because it's kind of like, you know, what the hell is going on? You know, if you're asking for these things and then, you know, the universe is sending them or putting them into motion and then you keep changing your mind, you know, like it's never going to work, is it?
The confused universe.
Yeah. Universe packing department's like, oh, I'll put that to the bottom of the list because guess what? Every 5 minutes she's changing her fucking mind. So, yeah, of course, you've got to be clear on what you want. But the thing is, you know, I'm just laughing because Elke's saying, you know, singing is healthy and it's fun. It is, yeah. Now she's just laughing at me. And
it's not the singing that's the problem, Elke. It's listening to me.
Yeah, exactly. So the question is, okay, so I think I know what I want. You know, I'm at that stage where I'm like, okay, then I think I know. I mean, is there a way of like sense checking? Is there a way of knowing that you're on the right path? You know, what would you recommend, Maz?
Well, it's feeling into it. It's my stock answer to everything, isn't it? It's how it feels. So you imagine, what will it be like when you've got what you're looking for? Because only by knowing that, by stepping into that area of wherever that vibration is, whatever that level is, only by stepping closer to that can you actually feel the response. And your body's got loads of wisdom in it, and your body knows what it wants. And usually what your body wants is in your highest good. Unfortunately, the mind isn't often on the same road or reading from the same hymn sheet. So to be able to align the body with the feeling place of having it, whatever it is that you think you're looking for, and then notice how that feels. Because often what happens when you do that, when you step into the place of being really clear, of knowing what you want to feel like, what mood you'll be in, what state you will be in. But if they're like the different dimensions. So there's that thing in NLP, isn't there, called, what do they call them? Submodalities, they call them in NLP. Where you understand what something will look like visually, what it will sound like, what it will smell like, what it will taste like, what it will feel like on the surface of the skin. And then also so that's 5 dimensions we've already got. Then there's the other dimensions of what's the inner feeling, what's the quality of the inner state. That's like a 6th dimension. And there are many other dimensions that you can add to this, but the more dimensions you put together of the result that you want, of how you will be when you get there, when you've got it, when you can find what you're looking for, that's where, for me, that's where you're making it happen. So there's that really, there's so many lovely teachings that you can bring up in this particular subject, but all that stuff about your mind creates, your thoughts create your reality. And it is really true, because, you know, my thoughts might not have created the table that I'm sitting at here, but the way that I am sitting at this table here, that's all about the thoughts and the state that I'm in right now. So my reality has been created as a result of the way that I've used my mind. And when we don't know how to use the mind intentionally, this is a huge area, isn't it, in what we teach at the FindYourWHY Foundation. Intentionality, having intentions, is using your mind in a way that you're directing it and pointing it at all of the things that you do want. So the stronger you create that sense of an intention, the more dimensions you give it, then the manifestation, the stuff that arrives, that appears, the reality around you, it comes quicker, it comes stronger, and sometimes it comes even better than you could have imagined.
Yeah. I mean, I suppose the thing is, the question I've got is, I get all that. I mean, and actually, somebody's thought created that table, I imagine. But I suppose the thing is, if I don't know what I don't know, so I don't know what it is that I'm looking for, then the question is, how can I get into the feeling place of what it'll feel like when I've got it? So I suppose you've got to really think of a time when you did know what you wanted, that you felt brilliant, and then bring those feelings and the pictures and the images.
You go back to what's familiar, you go back to what you do know, and start putting the jigsaw pieces together of all the things that you do want. And then when it gets a bit cloudy, usually it's because there's something in it that you don't want. And so by focusing on what you don't want, you're going to get more of it. But actually, if you notice what you don't want, and out of that can emerge, well, so that must mean that I do want this. it almost, it adds extra jigsaw pieces to the puzzle that you're putting together. So it's not to ignore what you don't want, because that would be silly, because what you don't want is informative. It's giving you information. And so use that information in a way to create new jigsaw pieces to put together. And then eventually when the jigsaw puzzle is finished, you've got what you want, because it's all of the things that you do want.
Yeah, yeah. Interestingly enough, and I don't know if I spoke to you since I did this. I had a lady a couple of sessions ago in terms of for the ITT session, and of course, I'm using hypnosis. I'm regressing people. I'm asking them to to tell me what they can see, and she couldn't see anything, and I was like, really? But actually, I'm going to introduce a new word. You may already know this word. Aphantasia. Aphantasia, do you reckon that's how you say it? And that is somebody who cannot visualize. So even if I asked her to close her eyes and look and just imagine, like, her husband in front of her, she couldn't see a face. So these people cannot see. They don't see anything at all. So it's a I was going to say it's a well-known, but clearly not well-known, because I didn't know about it until 2 days ago. But it is an actual name. This is where everyone's Googling now. Aphantasia, what does that mean? And it's people who can't see. So don't worry if you can't visualize, like literally visualize something, because, you can use the other submodalities that Marion's talking about there, in terms of like the feeling, the hearing, etc., etc. But I'll just sort of share that. There you go. It's over here.
That's actually something that can happen to me. I don't always have any visual content. I mean, sometimes I have very clear visual content, and sometimes I have none. But there are other senses. There's a sense of a knowing, or sometimes you might get a smell, sometimes you might get a taste or a sound. But it's this ability to recognize that it is enough. But that feels like, well, I'm just making it up as I go along, or just, I'm using my imagination, which isn't real. But actually, we can only consider or perceive what we've already considered or perceived. We can only connect to what is familiar. So whatever way we choose to connect to it, and making it up as you go along is actually often really powerful way of using your intuition, or using your innate wisdom. So with kinesiology is connects to this thing called the innate wisdom in the body. But that innate wisdom often is stuff that the mind has got no idea about, because it's dealing on stuff that's totally unconscious. So you can bring them into the mind, and you can connect to the sense of it without pictures or without sounds or anything else. But it's just a knowing. And so sometimes it is really tricky when people can't see, because they don't want to make it up as they're going along, because that just feels fraudulent or stupid, or I don't know, pretend. But actually it's all useful. Pretending is useful because you know it, and making it up as you go along is useful because you know it. So you're taking your body to a known place, which is where you're going to connect and affect your vibration again.
Yeah, it is, isn't it? Elke's saying, I still have to define mine properly for the universal packing department. I think we might actually do that. Might call ourselves the universe packing department. And submodalities, put my teeth in. Just had a cup of tea to look, but I'm a very handsome young man. Thank you very much. Yes, very powerful stuff. So I imagined a cup of tea, and then here it is now. The universe. So Elk's saying sometimes she can't visualize, but then she gets sounds and feelings. I'd never heard of that word either. So they're happy to share. Happy to share again. Now, what was I going to say? There was something that I was just thinking about when you were talking. Then, that's a lie. I mean, I was really listening. Maybe that should be the one. Why don't people listen? But I was thinking about. So for example, I remember when I, left working for somebody else, and people were saying to me, I don't know if you're making the right decision, you know what I mean? And I didn't really have I couldn't remember putting out a shipping order, purchase order for the universe. But I guess I was saying, I know I don't want this anymore, as in I don't want to feel sad, and I don't want to feel, like I'm chained, controlled, whatever that was. And of course, there's this sort of school of thought that you have to be mindful of for saying, I don't want this, because the universe doesn't hear the word don't. But I suppose on some level, I mean, I have no idea, because I'm just trying to like go back and maybe re-engineer what I did. I must have said, I don't want to drive this far every day. I want to work from home. There must have been some kind of, because when you know what you don't want, it does help, doesn't it, to just give you an idea of what you do want. I mean, that's a really good.
But you will have also been having experiences that were really positive and pleasurable and definitely favourable for you, because otherwise there'd be no contrast. So you wouldn't have known what you didn't want, because you weren't getting any of what you did want. Do you know what I mean? So we still have the experience of something that's really positive that we like. And even though we might not consciously clock it and go, yes, I definitely want more of this, there is action still is taking place, this acknowledgement that this is what you do want, because it's really good. Yeah.
I mean, but like if you're in it, I after last week, I was like, I don't want to be sad all the time. I don't want to be, I still get moments, even now, we'll just be talking before, I'm going to go pick Ozzy's ashes up from the vet. So of course it's early days and there's still reminders, but I don't want to keep thinking about the sad bit. I want to keep remembering the happy bits as well. So sometimes if you don't want something, it can lead you to what you want, can't it? But in terms of the feeling that I had, when opportunities started to come my way, when I kind of dropped, this is not what I want to be. I want to be this. And I'm talking about the career choice now, back to the career choice, not Aussie. And it was a case of, well, the opportunity started to come. I started to say yes. And other people were saying to me, oh, are you sure? Oh, I'm not sure about this. And I was like, I had this knowing. And a lot of people would call it a gut instinct. And obviously we know this from the genetic blueprinting that we do, that 70% of the universe has a gut instinct. So that's a really good place to come from in terms of not having to have all the answers here. That goes back to your kinesiology and what did you say? What was the terminology again?
The innate wisdom.
Innate wisdom. That was
like the body. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's the way that the body knows as well. And for those of us who don't have gut instincts, which is basically around about 29 to 30% of the world, some of us have an intuition. It's just a knowing. I just knew that I was on the right path. I didn't know why. I had no evidence, if you like. But I guess looking back now, it just felt right, which then comes back, to your, well, when it feels right and it feels good, then and obviously you're on the right path.
Yeah.
And I've been listening to some Abraham Hicks, recently, and we were talking about it, weren't we? This really big thing about, when you don't feel right, when you don't like the feelings you've got, then it's just a way of the universe saying, well, actually, this is showing you you're not in the right place at this moment in time. So really, really interesting there.
Yes. Well, there's a really nice thing as well about what Abraham said about the, what do they call it? The packing department. They call it rockets of desire, don't they? So sending your orders to the packing department, they call them, these are the rockets of desire that you send out to the universe. And one of the things that I heard that they were saying, and it was really interesting because I'd never considered this before, but when they said it, it was like, bloody hell, that feels about right, is that so we've got these two pots. So you've got your rockets of desire. You've got all of the things that you do want. And then you've got your fears and your doubts, or you've got your don't wants. So you've got these two energies moving in the opposite direction. One is moving with the flow and the other one is going against the flow. And so against the flow is where we slow things down. We slow down the manifestation or the creation of what we do want by going, oh my God, it's the fault of, and they're bastards and I hate them and I'm a victim. And all you're doing is loading up the resistance to what you do want. And what one of the things that I heard them say was that the rockets of desire are all very good, and you're creating this matrix or this vortex, they call it, don't they? You're creating this huge pot of what you do want, and the universe is busy packing the pot, packing departments, getting on with it. But actually, if we just focused on allowing ourselves to stop doing the resistance and to allow us to access the pot as it is today without putting even more stuff in it. Because it's almost like the higher this gets, the higher the resistance gets. So if we just allow everything to settle down and pay attention to how we feel all the time without creating new rockets of desire other than to stop putting resistance in our own way, then we will be stepping into all of this great stuff. And I know from the beginning of the work that I do now, I started to create the powers of possibilities, or the palace of possibilities, or creating a future life and a future self. There's loads of different ways, forward pacing, they call it in NLP, don't they? Loads of different ways of building this picture of what you do want in your future. And that future could be in an hour or in 10 years' time. And I've got loads of ingredients in that pot, and there's loads of stuff that I know that I want, and they're all things that I've got some experience of, so I can recreate the feeling and the state of where those things take me quite easily. But I do still spend an awful lot of time pulling on the resistance and worrying about, oh, you know, is there enough yet? How am I going to get more of? Or all of these things that are all just about the resistance, rather than the feeling where I am now and allowing myself to let go of the resistance. Because naturally, as you let go of the resistance, the flow automatically comes towards you. And I think the thing that for me that stood out in that was just stop worrying about trying to fill that pot. You've got a really fabulous pot there waiting for you to step into, to deliver what you do want, because you've spent your whole life doing it. So stop trying to be more, you know, create more and more of this new reality that you want, and allow the reality that you've already created to deliver what you do want, because you've laid it out there already. And it kind of, for me, it felt like it took the pressure off what I was doing. So because the pressure's off, the resistance doesn't seem to come so thick and so fast as well. So yeah, that for me was a bit of a light bulb moment.
Yeah, I mean, you know, we use, well, senses boards, as I say it, as opposed to vision boards. You know, we've got all these tools, we've got affirmations, etc. But actually, you know, if you just really want to be happy, if you just really want to have fun, which of course is your why, Maz, isn't it? If you just want to be, feel loved, you know, that's kind of like, that's what I want, and I'm open to the universe to deliver that in whatever way that they can. That doesn't mean to say I'm going to sit here and start praying, you know, I want to be loved, and just chant that all day. Well, probably might do better than trying to challenge, you know, trying to bring it forth aggressively, or go, oh, it's not here yet. Oh, I've just been asking for love for the last 30 years and I just haven't got it yet, or whatever. You know, that clearly is what you're talking about, you know, trying to force it. But if you just go, you know what, I just want to be happy, and so I'm going to do things every day that make me happy. And okay, there might be some.
I just want to be happy, so yeah. I just want to be happy, so I'm going to do it right now in this moment, because that's all we've got control over is the present moment.
Yeah, so it's just like, just get on with it, and then, you know, more happiness will come your way. Happiness, notice how I use the H, not A-penis, like we normally do up north. Drop as H's, the nose, now then. So, you know, just be in that moment of having happiness, not anyway. And then, you know, and then the universe can supply some more of it, really. It's an interesting topic. The one thing that I do think that a lot of people, you know, and ask me how I know about this, go through is maybe, being held back, you know, from something that was said to them in the past. You know, a lot of the clients we've had in this last Find Your Why Foundation retreat, and also, in the therapy work that we do, you know, a lot of them really don't feel like they're good enough, or don't feel that whatever is out there is available to them. They don't think the universal packing department's available to them. But usually that's just because somebody said something, and it can be something and nothing that that when the clients find out about it, I mean, what are they like, Maz? They're like, is that it? Yeah. You know, is that it, really? And you're like, yes, it is. But, you know, this 3-year-old or 5-year-old or 6-year-old that experienced that, you know, in the moment, like, I love what you always say, Maz, you know, a trauma for a kid is when they drop an ice cream.
Yes.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be a massive, violation sort of trauma. It can be something as simple as that could potentially hold somebody back. Do you know what I mean? So it's always worth, investigating and finding out from other people if they can do some work with you to release you. So if you know what you want to be happy, and you're happy, just go, I'm happy in the moment, and that's exactly what I'm looking for. And then, the negativity kicks in, then there's probably some underlying, I like to say there's some underlying mold on the living room, wallpaper that keeps coming through. So it doesn't matter how many times you plaster over it or wallpaper over it, you've got to really get back to that basics, do something with the dry rot or the mold that's coming through. Cool. Now, I don't know if Elke and our lovely Renara are still online. If they are, Elke, if you're listening to this still, and you are... or if you're listening to it at the recording, anybody, if you've got some why questions, then please post them. We have some more why questions. We will have another one for you tomorrow. But if you've got some questions, why don't you ask us what you're looking for. Marion, anything to add before we leave our lovely listeners? Oh, still here. She's still here. Good. Yes, if you've got a why question, then please let us know. Anything else to add? Oh, and so's Renara.
Oh, lovely. It's really great that you're still joining us. It's definitely what we're looking for, people to share this with.
Exactly. So, yeah. So Renara's still here, and so is So, yeah.
I noticed Robert, the dog. She's got a dog called Robert. He's really cute in her photograph. Oh. So, yeah, I think for me, it really is just about clarity. And then there is the other part of it that comes in, which is the most difficult bit, is trust.
Yeah.
Because when you know what you do want and you know that you can get into that place. Oh, she's recovering from flu and a bad back. Oh, you might need to come and see me, darling. Maybe I should come and see you. Do you know what flu is about, Renara? I mean, usually if it's in the head, it's about the recovery from a fear of a future attack or something. And Robert's listening too. How lovely. And bad back is, what's it called? Self-devaluation. So you're recovering from a bout of self-devaluation and you're recovering from a bout of fear of the future or fear of attack of some kind. And I saw something online recently about you running an event, and I bet you it's got something to do with that. My sense tells me. Throat. So you're going to have to be speaking, aren't you, at this event you're going to be doing? So yeah, there's always, when we've got physical symptoms, it's a really nice little introduction actually. When you've got any physical symptoms, ask us some why questions. Why is my throat sore? You can ask us that because there are some systems that we've got access to that we can give you some insight to help you to understand what the symptom is about, what is it telling you, and how can you heal at a deeper level that means that that symptom is actually a real tool for transformation of you, who you are in the world. And we can transform ourselves to a level where symptoms can no longer get into our system because our system is vibrating at a higher level of frequency. So that's another nice thing to say. But she ran an event and it was lovely. And then the back went, yes, absolutely. Because you may have had thoughts about not good enough, not clever enough, not clear enough, not funny enough, whatever it was. And after the event, and it all went really well, that not good enough was like a wound, and now it's being healed. So that's what the back is about. Your back, because I had a very similar thing happen to me after an event that we'd run, that my back just said, right, well, you've done all of this really good work now, and you were successful, and I didn't actually think you were, so I've been fighting and stressing you out. Now I have to go away and leave you, but you won't be able to move for a couple of days while you rest. It is a right bugger transforming, absolutely. All this transformation.
Ladies, we need to go. And so she's quite right, Marion. So yes, if you've got any why questions, hope you're enjoying the why questions of the day. And if you've got any why questions of your own, then please post them. Hang on, or do this. I know, like that, so we don't point to us bits after yesterday in the chat box below. And so it's goodbye from her.
And it's goodbye from me.
See you later, ladies. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.